Hi there. Welcome back to Your Money in Real Estate. We are with the teacher, Kevin Mitchell, and that's why we've kept the board up. Normally we take it back, but Kevin, you've moved your real estate career. Obviously, we talked about numbers, we've talked about bank conspiracies, but now we're going to talk, I guess, about another thing that you've done is all this experience and all this background, being a teacher, getting into real estate. You're now saying, you know what? I want to write a book. I want to set out all my strategies, and that's why I kind of left the board up. But that's what I want to talk about this final segment, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would say, "Gosh, sounds great. What strategies are there?" So why don't you tell us a little about some of your strategies, your book, and different things? Because it's not the bank conspiracy; it's an actual another book that you've written.
Well, actually, it's not a specific book, and I've written over 130 pages of ebooks. There's actually 13 different ones.
Okay.
So just to talk about our course a little bit,
sure.
The teaching aspect, and getting back to when we started to talk to people about investing with us, with our joint venture partnerships.
Sure.
A lot of people want to do it themselves. Well, the teacher part of me kind of came out and said, beginning of 2011, hey Eric, we got this systemized way to invest. We can basically take it, put it all on paper. It's through videos, and people can just simply plug into it and they can start investing by themselves.
So you created a teaching a course program for all your people that you're bumming into.
Exactly. So it's an online course, and there's 13 different modules. It starts with mindset. It goes right through to structuring your real estate business, and all the way through negotiations, finding properties. What we did is A to Z, how we go through our whole entire business, how we built it. Like I mentioned, I wrote 130 pages of ebooks across those 13 modules. And we also shot about 13 hours of video.
Excellent.
And every resource that we collected over the last 5.5 years has been included. So there's hundreds of pages of resource material. So, and our goal from the first was to help people not only invest in real estate, but to make sure people are purchasing Ontario properties in the safest, most secure way possible.
And what is there a title for the book, or is there?
Yeah, it's called Strategic Real Estate Investing.
Strategic real estate. Is there a website? Maybe that can be.
Yes.
Quicker, but put the title up, investing. Okay, and there's how many modules?
13 of them.
13, so there's 13 books, 13 modules?
Yep, 13 books, and so each module, it's all online, which is cool because then you can sit there and access it from your iPad or your computer wherever you go.
Yep.
And in the videos, you can watch the videos wherever, and each module has an ebook, has got a video really talking, and they're talking about our stories, right?
Sure.
In investment strategies, we talk about Duke Street, or we talk about, the different properties that we've done.
That's what I said to you when you come on the show. The best stories are the ones that you've been through.
Exactly. So we kind of share our experiences, share our mistakes, and then beyond those, so that's the course itself, but it's the website SREI System, so SREI System.com.
SREI Systems?
System.
.com. So that, okay, I see.
Or .ca.
Yeah, okay.
But because it's more than just the course itself.
And this is like an online course?
It's all online. So when somebody purchases it, they get a membership, a username and password. So they go on, so they have that part. But for us, that wasn't enough. We've taken course, and that's incomplete, because then without that, you're kind of still left, okay, now I know what to do, but how do I build my power team?
Sure.
So the power team we've built.
Because it's relationships. Like I was even saying earlier, it's always meeting people. You can't do it by yourself.
No, and it costs you a lot of money to do it by yourself. It costs us a lot of money. So, our mortgage broker, all our real estate agents in our target cities, lawyers, accountant, all that's included, so people can just plug right in, because that's the whole idea. So our whole power team's there, and then there's also a membership form.
Okay, so there's power teams. Now you mentioned, because you're right. I mean, having a local contractor in Cambridge, or Wallaceburg. I mean, so do you have investments all over Ontario?
All over Ontario. We have specific cities. We really focus in the Barrie, Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo, Hamilton area.
Okay.
But we do have properties in other areas as well. And
in those areas, you have those power teams.
Yes, we do.
So those towns, I know, are very, very targeted, very much targeted by real estate investors. So a lot of people thinking of investing, there's economic fundamentals, going back to that word, where these power teams could probably come in handy then.
Yeah, and the membership form is great too. So if somebody puts on the form, say, hey, I'm looking for a great property manager, I'm going to buy a duplex in St. Catharines because that's where I live. Well, then we would work with our team and our resource to try to help them set up their own power team as we kind of grow our course together.
Okay.
And So the power teams there, like I said, the membership form's great too, because we just want to create a situation where people kind of plug in and be able to actually purchase properties, because that's the whole idea of the whole thing.
Sure.
So,
and I don't know. I don't want to use the word handhold, but I know that there's a lot of different strategies. There's a lot of different clubs. There's a lot of different investment groups that have different strategies. But it sounds like yours is, you want to, by the end of your course, you want your students, if I can use that word, have a property under their belt.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, in a lot of courses out there, a lot of people out there are selling the dream. Make millions in real estate. Pictures of yachts and all the rest that were. Where Eric and I. We're Ontario boys, come from a real middle class background.
Wallaceburg, man. Doesn't get any more middle class than that.
Exactly. So our focus is simply on a safe and secure way to diversify your investment portfolio. And that's the whole system, just how to buy properties. And that's what we basically teach people, how to make properties that are going to make them 15% plus on their money.
Okay. Now, I know that, in meeting you and talking about you, I said, listen, let's throw out for our viewers, let's give them some meaty pieces of information. You mentioned 7 gems or little different things. Well, why don't we throw some of those things out there?
Yeah, that sounds great, and when we go into those in greater detail in our webinars.
Yeah.
But this is getting back to the fact that buying turnkey properties is just virtually impossible to have your cash flow. So we have we really dig into it in the course, but there's specific things you can do that allow you to find these hidden gems, because the vast majority of investors are looking for the turnkey.
Yeah, that's right.
So you kind of eliminate your competition, and some of them I'd mentioned are finding a rundown property in a very nice neighborhood.
So your hidden gem is a rundown property in a higher end neighborhood.
Yeah, a nice rental neighborhood. Just the ugliest house on a nice street.
Yeah, we call it the ugliest house property. Really.
Yeah, and then another one is the Mortgage Plus repairs.
Okay.
When you're buying rundown houses, you're going to have to do repairs, and it's so nice. Like in that Duke Street example, our total investment was $47,000. If you had to add another $18,000 in repairs that had to come out of pocket, it lowers the return on investment and takes $18,000 out of our pocket.
Sure.
To purchase another property with.
Yeah, and it also, looking at it from a practical standpoint, you said, well, we got to make these repairs for $18,400 or something. I think the number was. So you got to work within a budget instead of going crazy, which a lot of people do. They say, well, you know what, I want to do it right. I'm going to spend $25,000. You've gone overboard.
Yeah.
And you, as you know, you can go way overboard, and then in 1 year, depending on certain tenants, that money can be totally wasted.
Yes, and that's another one of our hidden gems, is doing the right renovations.
All right. So renos
Renos that make you money.
Renos right. I'll just call it Renos right.
Yeah, and that's a great point where you put people getting mostly involved, and then all of a sudden they kind of have a mind lapse, think that they're going to be living in the property. And and it's interesting too, right? Because I talk to people that somebody bought a duplex and they spent $25,000 on new windows for the property.
Yep.
And I said, well, why did you do that? It's, well, the windows were old, and I said, well, don't they all have separate heating bills? And it's like, and those windows that you had in there, did you do an efficiency test on them? Did you check them out?
Yeah.
Well, no, they just looked ugly. So it's like, you have to make sure that every dollar that you spend is going to give you a return on investment.
Right. Now, I can understand the window thing, because I did the same thing on one of my properties where I couldn't get separate meters, the cost for separate meters. And so and the way the rent structure was, the woman was there for a while, I didn't make a change. Her structure was, I was paying the heat. Well, if I'm paying the heat, as you say, well, then if I put new windows in, I'm going to save. In this particular house, I probably saved almost $50 a month. That averaged out like a large sum of money. It was worth it. After a 2-year period, I got my money back.
Which is awesome, and that's kind of what we teach too, right? You have to put a pen to paper always.
Yes, that's right. Think about everyone. Yeah.
It has to always be a financial decision on what you do, and there's certain ones. Renters like certain things, and so
what else is there?
The next one is maximizing underutilized space.
Maximize space.
Yes, space.
Okay.
And I mentioned that loft with 3 bedrooms. That's a great example. But there's been countless basements, unfinished basements, where we could put a bedroom or 2 down there.
Sure.
Sometimes there's a huge living room where you can put another bedroom and still not take away the living space. So you want to maximize space, but you don't want to create a whole unit full of bedrooms where there's no place to live either. So again, that's going into further detail. But maximizing space is another great way. more bedrooms equal higher rental value equals higher property value, which puts money in your pocket.
Yeah, and then of course when you want to resell or you want to refi, the more beds you have on the property, that's a dollar, right? I always say a bed is a dollar somewhere along. So without sacrificing living space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That you kind of have to, and these are the things you have to learn. But another big one is motivated sellers.
Motivated sellers. That's my last one I'm going to write, because you can hear we got music going on. Kevin, I can't thank you enough for driving all the way from Wallaceburg up to the show. And it's obviously that we could probably do a whole other show on all this kind of stuff. Thank you so much for coming to the show. I'd like to thank the viewers for watching. Our good man Kevin from Wallaceburg, and you can certainly go onto his website and hear about the bank conspiracy. And we'll see you next week on Your Money and Real Estate. Take care.